Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beats make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce come paint. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Woo! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening with the Metalheads Truck Series. As these drivers ready to go to battle, ready to duke it out here this evening in the Revco Electrical 200 here from Michigan International Speedway. This is going to be another great show and another historic night in the Metalheads Truck Series racing action. It's 100 laps of racing action here for us this evening, and these drivers are going to put on a absolutely amazing show for us. This is my boy Justin Toll. Justin coming in, setting it off here with the 20-star dono over there on Facebook. I appreciate that, Justin, coming in, showing the love here in this one. Says, what up, buddy? What's up, Justin? How you doing? doing? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day, my boy. Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful evening, and hopefully you're, ready for a little bit of Truck Series action here as the green flag is upon us in just a few more moments. Things are going to get a little bit wild out there on the racetrack, and drivers are going to get ready to duke it out here on the speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today as we get ready to go through our starting grid here on the racetrack. Each and every one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane. Is starting on the pole in the camping world, number 133, it's Ashley Ellison Jr. To the outside of our pole sitter, it is the 15 ride. It's the Anything EC Sparkle and Shine number 15. It's Michael Madden. Starting in position number 3, it is Keith Prince as he's yet to load into the sim here. To his outside will be that Vesta's number 40 ride. That is Nathan Nixon. Starting in position number 5, another driver yet to jump into the sim. It is the 5 ride of Matt Hayden, who will start in the 5th position. To his outside in the sim seats 196, it is Caleb Kleinert. Starting in position number 7 in the Sinclair Dino Care ride, that is Rusty Modesty. To his outside in the Muleburger Custom Homes number 51, it's Joshua Moore, starting there in 8th. Starting back in the 9th position, the inside of row number 5, it is that Napa Auto Parts 27 of Nick Gardner. Into his outside, the Body Armor 05, it's Joe Bennett, rounding out our top 10. Starting back in 11th in the Paper Cuts, one rail NOS Energy 318. It is Matthew Catania starting there in 11th. To his outside will be the 00 of Nate Cogdell. Starting at 13th, the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC, the TRD Performance Truck. That is the 2 of Daniel Dow. Into his outside in the QH Designs Mission 22. It is the Campbell Soup, the beautiful Detroit Lions ride. It is Skylar Berry starting there in position number 14. Starting back in the 15th position in the QH Design, Sonic Graphic Designs, the winning bid diecast machine. It is the 97 of Colton Hardy. His outside, another winning bid diecast ride. It is the 92 machine, the Goldberg machine. That is Clinton Woodby starting there in 16th. Starting back in 17th in the Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters, number 87. It is John Herbert starting there in 17th. It was outside the 44 ride. It's the Roland Rock machine. That is Paul Ferdinandi. And then we see the beautiful Florida Gators, number 17 of Bruce Bernard, the Liquid Death 4 ride of Jesse Calloway, Rooster Rodden in the 01, the 14 of Cooper Reed, and it is the 01 of Rooster Rodden. These guys bringing up the rear of the field. 22 drivers ready to play here. Is Ashley Ellison Jr. going to lead us down to the green flag. Here is this one as quickly. Ellison sees the green flag fly. Looks like he misses a shift right there. Outside lane gets a great drive as Michael Madden and Nathan Nixon jump out in front. They'll lead us into corner number 1. Here is the 133 right. Unfortunately, quickly missing a shift right there, and all of a sudden loses a couple spots, and now has his teammate working to the outside of him. Here comes Caleb Kleinert going right on around that 133 as the inside lane kind of got log jammed, and they all get sent back quite a ways here to start this feature event. Ashley Ellison Jr. already back into that 5th position as Joshua Moore now working to the outside of that Team CFM Esports 133 machine. Now here comes Matt Hayden, here comes Joe Bennett, Nick Gardner, Keith Prince, Daniel Dow. All these drivers moving forward, trying to work themselves up towards our top 5. And Sarah Nixon says, alrighty, let's go, bro. Number 40 cheered on Mr. Nathan Nixon out there on the racetrack. Looks like Nathan is going to slide back into about that 4th position now, as you do see that 15 ride of Michael Madden out in front, trying to hold off that Sim Seats 196 of Caleb Kleiner. But down low, it's the 51 of Joshua Moore, looking for more out there on the racetrack as he's trying to take over the race lead. is down the front straightaway here, looking for a big run down across the line. It's going to be a close call, but it does look like the 51 of Joshua Moore able to lead that lap. Now we do see Caleb Kleinert. He's now down to the inside. He's got his teammate in the 133, Ashley Ellison, right there with him. As Ellison moves up the track, makes some contact. Look out, the 51 of Moore almost going around. Now there's more contact. Look out, Michael Madden in the 133 down into the inside fence. Heavy contact there for Michael Madden. Oh, baby, that's where things went a little bit wild. And look at Madden's truck absolutely tore apart down here on the back straightaway. That is a heartbreaker for the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15, as he had some high hopes of this race, qualified on the outside of the front row. Now where he wants to be sitting here early on today. Let's take a look back at it. So there's contact here. So the 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. sends it into the corner here, fairly deep down low. Ashley sends it in there, looking for a big run, trying to stay right there on the back bumper of his Team CFM Esports teammate there. That is the 196 of Mr. Caleb Kleinert. And all of a sudden, the 133 just washes up the track, ends up into the 51 right here. And look out as that Muhlenberger Custom Homes ride slideways down through quarter number 2. Now, luckily enough, he's able to catch it, but Michael Madden, he sees it happening. He sees that this 51 right sideways. He's sliding up the racetrack, and he needs to make evasive maneuvers here to try to avoid getting hit. And all of a sudden, it just pushes him up the track. He ends up almost into the outside fence, and as he tries to cut away from the fence, Ashley Ellison Jr. just kind of comes back up the track right here. Now, it's kind of both of them kind of going into it and running out of room right there. Let's take another look at it. Obviously, Ashley having a big gap here down low. Obviously expecting to try to follow his teammate up the track, and I think either way, even if Madden doesn't get a little loose there trying to avoid that fence, I think that the 133 was probably going to get into him no matter what out there on the racetrack, as Madden doesn't really get too bent out of shape right there until Ellison gets a piece of them, and then obviously they make the contact. The 133 and the 15 both will wash down the racetrack, and look at this hit here for Michael Madden. That is a heavy, heavy front-on collision, man. That may be the night over bell right there for that number 15. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Michael Madden, see what he can see here from the cockpit. Now, they got the ultra-wide screens, everything else, so they're going to see a lot more out of these side windows and everything than what we will, but you watch him send it into the corner, trying to keep it out of the fence here. That's where he gets tagged and down the track, and he's got him locked up. Unfortunately, that truck just cannot get checked up quick enough. Heavy, heavy contact down to that inside fence. Heartbreaker there for him. Heartbreaker for Ashley Ellison Jr. Both these drivers now with some damage and at the back of the pack here. Let's see if we can jump on board here again with this 133. Let's see if we can take a look from... Let's right on board with him here. Here we go. Sends it into the corner. Trying to keep it down low. Washes up the track. Starts to roll out of the throttle, but still pushing up the speedway. Stays in it, then comes out of the corner, tries to get up towards the fence, and that's where Madden already is, and that's where the contact happens, and they both go around now. Not as much contact there for the 133, so for Ashley Ellison Jr., not as tore up as what Michael Madden is, but nonetheless, this is a heartbreaker for a few of our competitors early in this race. Not a spot you want to be out there on the racetrack. Let's take another look at it here. Here comes the 133 down low. Starts to wash up, makes that contact right there with the 51, then comes up again, and then, yeah, him and Madden just off corner 2, run out of room, and, man, it's tough hit early in this race. Never want to see competitors having issues like that this early on, but nonetheless, we'll get them all ready to rock and roll, ready to go back to battle here, as we do see the number 196 of Caleb Kleinert out in front of the field here. Nathan Nixon back in second now, as we do see the 0-5 of Joe Bennett now into third. Nick Garner there in fourth. Daniel Dow into the fifth spot with Skylar Berry, John Herbert, Nate Cogdell, Modesty, and I do believe it is the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell rounding out our top 10 there, and taking a quick pit here. It was Joshua Moore down pit side here, so Moore did head down pit road there on lap 4. Same with Matt Hayden in the 5 ride. We did see Paul Ferdinandi, Jesse Calloway, Bruce Bernard, Keith Prince all come down pit side, as well as Ashley Ellison Jr. and Michael Madden. Unfortunately for Madden, he is already a couple laps down here, so he's going to need a couple more caution flags, so hopefully try to get himself back onto the lead lap as Beverly Rapp says, let's go 51, cheered on Mr. Moore here this evening. Great save right there for Joshua Moore out there on the racetrack, trying to keep himself out of that one as dude drifted too far. He definitely drifted too far right there, that's for certain. And he says, wrecked two dudes. Wrecked two dudes. That's definitely something right there, that's for certain. It just says, oh, I know someone in this race. At least I have raced against him before. Who's that? Who have you raced against? I'm assuming it's probably one of the Team CFM guys, probably Caleb Kleinert or like Matthew Catania, one of those cats potentially. I know they do quite a bit of dirt racing as well as pavement racing that I could think of. Maybe Cooper Reed as well. Coop's another one of those teammates on the Team CFM esports rides as the Geek Bar 14 a little deeper in the field here. Now we see another driver around. Look out, it's the 05 ride of Joe Bennett down the back straightaway. Bennett's going to go for a spin, and the caution flag is going to come right back out. We were just getting rolling here again, and now we see some more issues here as the 05, the body armor ride, kind of pushes up the track there a little bit. He's got the 318 to his outside. He's got the 2 ride here. Daniel down to his inside. Look at that truck almost go airborne right there, as it just looks like I don't think he realized he was 3 wide right here. Cuts down the track. I don't think he realized that the 2 was down low. He kind of comes down a little bit. The 2 kind of comes up. They get tied together, almost the same as what we saw out of Ashley Ellison Jr. and that 15 of Michael Madden. This time it's a single truck spin as the 05 goes for a couple loop-de-loops. Now, luckily enough, he's able to catch this truck and not make any contact with that inside fence and able to keep on rolling out there on the racetrack. So a quick yellow flag, not a whole lot of cleanup, and that's exactly what Michael Madden wanted to see. As I do believe with that caution flag, we should get a lucky dog, and being the only driver a lap down out there on the racetrack, Michael Madden should be able to get the wave around and back into a at least into a 1 lap down position here this evening. As Eric Hardy, what's good, Eric? Eric not only coming with that heart reaction on the broadcast, also says Peacemaker Gaming just here to cheer on that 97 ride, here to cheer on Mr. Colton Hardy here this evening. We do see Colton actually head down pit side. It looks like he's one of very few drivers elected to come down pit road, so I'm not sure if this is early pit strategy for the 97 and the 51 ride or how this is going to play out for him. We do see Keith Prince down pit road. Joe Bennett also coming down pit side here in this one, looking to get some repairs onto their rides, and I do believe we may see that 15 of Michael Madden. There he is going on the outside lane. He will get that wave around, so lucky dog going to the sparkle and shine. Anything EC number 15. Now that's a great break there for Michael Madden after being held down pit road for the tow call down to pit lane. Now we had to use that quick repair, which is a heartbreaker for him potentially later in this race if he gets tied up in another incident like we saw early on. And if something catastrophic happens to this ride from this point going forward, one more big hit, one wrong move, one wrong spot on the racetrack, and this 15 ride could be it could be night over for him. If he has another hit like he did, it's definitely going to have him down pit side for a very, very long time, and he'll lose more than just a couple laps out there. But he's going to need probably at least another caution flag here if he wants to try to get back on the lead lap. Now, lucky news is that we will have a stage break on lap 25, so we will have another yellow flag here in just a little bit. So if he can stay as the first car and the only car a lap down out there on the racetrack, he should be able to get back onto the lead lap after the 25 lap stage break here this evening, as we'll get them all ready to rumble here again. They'll get ready to duke it out here at beautiful Michigan International Speedway, man. This is such a great racetrack, so much fun. Obviously, tight racing. Already seeing a lot of 2, 3 wide, even a little 4 wide out there on the racetrack. And for a lot of these drivers, you can run out of room in a quick hurry before you even realize it. So you got to be very, very cautious. You got to be, very, very mindful about where you are on the racetrack, where your competitors are, and where you're making big moves are sliding up and down the speedway, you want to make sure that you're completely clear, and that's going to be the name of the game here this evening, is being clear of the drivers around you when you try to throw these big moves or trying to slide up in front of somebody or anything else, or even just trying to side draft, that you don't get a big piece of them. And unfortunately, already here today we've seen some issues, and early on a couple caution flags, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here as we will complete lap number 10. The next time by the start finish line we will see that green flag flying, so it's about a 15 lap shootout here to the end of stage number 1, or one and only stage here with the Metalheads Truck Series, as these drivers get ready to rumble here again. It is the 196 of Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert is going to elect to use the outside lane here on the restart, as he wants to have his teammate Matthew Catania right there on his back bumper, and Catania moving up through the field here, up 8 positions already here for that 318 machine. A couple other drivers moving up and forward here. You do see that 46 of Skylar Berry up and into position number 6 on the speedway here. He's already up 8 spots as well. Dangle Dow, he's up about 7 positions, 8 positions. They're in position number 5. So these drivers are moving on up through the field here. Rooster Rod and Coop Reed both up 10 spots on the racetrack. And here we go back to green flag racing. It's a great jump on that outside lane as the 196 of Caleb Kleinert has that race lead. He's looking to try to hold these guys back as he wants to put himself up and into victory lane. But his teammate right there behind him, Matthew Catania, I do believe Catania has won the last 2 races here with the Metalheads Truck Series. So Catania is going to be a very, very tough driver to beat. So that's going to be fun to see if Catania can try to hold them off, as he's won the last 2 races. He'll be looking to try to put himself up into victory lane and make it a three-peat here in the Metalheads Truck Series, as he was able to pick up and capture the victory at the Milwaukee Mile and at Lime Rock Park last Monday night. So he's on a hot start here. He's definitely been moving up through the field. He's feeling very, very good, especially after winning the last 2 races here in the series. He's got a lot of momentum and a lot of power behind that 318 machine, and he's looking to use it here this evening at Michigan, as you see that 40 ride of Nathan Nixon now dipping down to the inside here. He's looking to make that move around Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert trying to hang on to the race lead here as Nathan Nixon looking to try to take it away from him. Nixon down low, trying to slide up in front of him. Can't quite clear that 196, but for Nixon, he will lead that lap. So Nathan Nixon out in front leading this race, but here comes the outside lane, storming right back to his outside. Can Nixon slide up and clear that 196 rider? Will they stay door to door, as here comes John Herbert and company, as they're starting to run a little bit 3-4 wide back here deeper behind them, as our race leaders kind of get all bounced up there and bound up, as here comes that 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania down low. Here comes Nick Garner up on the top shelf, working the outside lane. He's got the 46 right there with him, as Skylar Berry trying to carry all that speed and momentum down these back straightaways and front straightaway here this evening, as they are trying to race their way up to the front of the pack. Catania down low here, going to slide back a spot again, as there goes that 40 right on Nathan Nixon. Going to take another run down to the inside, looking for a big side draft off that 196, as the battle at the front of the field, it is just absolutely heating up here. It is not slowing down one little bit, in the pushing and jumping here at Michigan International Speedway continues to keep on getting more and more aggressive. And as we get these laps counted down, as we get closer and closer to our checkered flag, it's going to get even more wild out there on the racetrack, especially if we start to see some late race restarts out there on the racetrack. These drivers will not be letting off. They will not be holding back. They'll be trying to take everything they can and try to put themselves up and into victory lane. Early on here, especially with a couple early caution flags, drivers maybe a little bit more inclined to race a little bit more respectfully, maybe roll out of it, maybe not try to run over drivers or push too hard or put themselves or other drivers into a bad position early on in this race. As we'll take a look back and see some of these guys try to work themselves back up through the field. You look at Ashley Ellison Jr. Ashley all the way back here in that 15th position, hasn't really made up too much ground. Joe Bennett right there behind him, as Joe slides there in that 16th spot. Callaway, Colton Hardy, that 51 of Joshua Moore still back here as well in the 19th spot on the racetrack for the Muhlenberger Custom Homes ride. Definitely not where he wants to be out there on the racetrack after battling for the race lead early on in this race. You see Keith Prince, Bruce Bernard back there as well, as we do see Michael Madden only one lap down, hoping to get to that 25-lap marker, seeing that caution flag fly and him be the lucky dog once again to get himself back onto the lead lap and back into the battle here today, and see if he can race his way back up and through the field and towards the front of the pack. Is out in front. It is Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert going to lead another lap here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway with Nixon, Catania, Nick Gardner, Skylar Berry, our top 5 out there on the racetrack, as the beautiful Detroit Lions Metalheads number 46 rolls there in that 5th position, as we see the caution flag come back out. Yellow flag back out on the racetrack here. Oh, brother, another caution flag here early on this evening. Let's take a look at it, as it looks like John Herbert going to run into some problems here. Let's take a look at the Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters ride. Looks like him and potentially Rusty Modesty going to run into each other here. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one, as they're 4 wide right here, down and out at corner number 2. The 2 right up on the high side, the 92 down low, Clinton Woodby. And you see Rusty and the 87 kind of stuck right there in the middle. Looks like Rusty maybe gets a little bit loose, kind of comes down, tail tangs that 87 ride of John Herbert. It spins Herbert right down across the nose, and maybe a little contact there for the 92 ride, but not much. And unfortunately here for Herbert, he's going to slide down into this infield wall and hit virtually the same spot that we saw Michael Madden get into early in this race. Now for the 87 ride, luckily enough, he backs it into that wall, so hopefully not too much damage, or at least enough that he may not have to use that quick repair up early this evening. But let's see if we can play this back and kind of see how this was brewing once again, as these guys were 4 wide, man. This is the racing that we want to see here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway, man. This is something here. 4 wide battle and down into corner number 1, nice and easy. Down out of corner number 2, looks like everyone was able to stay pretty clean up until this point, whether it's contact between the 6 and the 87. It sends the 87 down hard into that inside catch fence, and that will put us back under the caution flag here this evening. Heartbreaker there for John Herbert, as he'll have to try to get that truck repaired. But good news brewing here for Michael Madden, as that is going to put Michael Madden back onto the lead lap here this evening. So a great break there for Mr. Madden, as he will get the wave around. He'll be back onto the lead lap here this evening, and that is a good break for a driver that early on got tied up, got tore up out there on the racetrack, and now trying to put himself right back into contention here today, as he'll get ready to play once again. He'll get ready to try to drive his way up and through the field. We'll have to wait and see what he can do, and if he can put himself into a position to potentially get back into this battle at the front of the field. As the CFM Power, or the CFM Performance 196 ride, that is the Sim Seats machine. Caleb Kleiner continuing to lead the way. His teammate right there behind him, Matthew Catania. Catania in that beautiful paper cuts NAS Energy 318 machine back there in second. Rusty Modesty rolling there in third, with the Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 ride in position number 3. Nathan Nixon, the Vestas ride there in position number 4, and looking for more with the Anything EC teammate of his, Daniel Dow, rounding out our top 5. Matt Hayden there in 6th, with Clinton Woodby back there in 7th. And we see Paul Ferdinandi, the Rolling Rock ride, up into position number 8. The Ollie's number 14, that's Coop Reed there in 9th, with Joe Bennett back up inside the top 10 as he rolls there in that 10th position. Keith Prince, Ashley Ellison Jr., our pole sitter, back there in 12th. And we see Skylar Berry there in 13th. Just came down pit road. A lot of these drivers, pretty much all these drivers, came down pit side there on lap number 17. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to use that caution flag as potentially our stage break. I don't think they're going to. I believe they're going to still have another caution flag here in about 5-6 laps. So that's going to make things very, very interesting here for a lot of these drivers. Knowing that the caution flag is going to come back out here in just a little bit. There's going to be points on the line, a bonus playoff point as well. So a lot of these drivers are going to be trying to work themselves up here towards the front of the field, trying to earn those extra bonus points, especially if you need them. If you're a driver like, potentially Daniel Dow. I think Dow's already got a win, same with Nathan Nixon. So like a driver like Rusty Modesty, who may really need those points, going to try to hang on to at least a third place run, maybe get a couple extra spots and maybe get that stage win and really help him out in his point situation out here going forward on the season. As Caleb Klein with a great restart right there. Matthew Catania down to his inside. Teammates trying to work together, trying to clear that 40 right of Nathan Nixon. Nixon, though, trying to hang tough right to the back bumper of that 196. As here comes that 6 of Rusty Modesty. Modesty down low. Our top 4 right there. Nose to tail on the racetrack. They are not letting go of each other. They're all right there on top of them, and they are all pushing each other hard down the back straightaway. As the outside lane looking to get a little bit more broken up as the 40 right of Nathan Nixon tries to go for a bit bigger of a run down the front straightaway, tries to roll it up the track and down the hill here at Michigan. Gets a good run here. He's all over the back bumper there of Caleb Kleinert, and that's going to push him and Kleinert out in front of Matthew Catania and Rusty Modesty there. And Modesty slides back now as the 92 of Clinton Woodby jumps down to the inside here. Woodby trying to race his way inside the top 5. Here comes Daniel Dow. Here comes that 14 of Coop Reed. Reed's right there as well, trying to put himself inside the top 5, looking for some stage points here today. Matt Hayden there in that 5 ride. He's right in the hunt as well as Paul Ferdinandi and Rooster Rod and round out our top 10 out there on the racetrack. But it's Nathan Nixon down low, is able to jump up, slide in front of the 196, and Nixon takes over the race lead here in Michigan. So Nathan Nixon out in front will lead lap number 21 here this evening, but 196 of Caleb Kleinert quickly battling back, able to get that draft back to his rear bumper, gets the big run down into corner number 1, and he's looking to try to pull the same move that we saw on the 40 ride, virtually a big slider up and across his nose, and now the 40 trying to figure out where he can take this run and trying to see if he can size him up here and make that move again to try to jump in front of this 196. Now you do see the 2 right of Daniel Dow. Dow starting to poke his nose into this battle. Same with that 92 of Clinton Woodby. Woodby restarted back in about that 7th or 8th position, and here he is now up and inside the top 3 and looking to battle for this stage win. There's Daniel Dow right there inside the top 5. It does look like Rooster Rodden up on the outside lane here. Rooster trying to stay inside the top 5. He's our top 5 drivers will all earn stage points here at the completion of lap number 25. So for a lot of these drivers, trying to keep yourself out in front or trying to keep yourself inside the top 5 could be a big difference maker on whether or not you're going to earn stage points here this evening, or if you're going to be able to earn some extra bonus points. There's contact here between Nixon and Woodby. They're trying to side draft each other. They get a little too close and they make some contact as they're 3 wide back there behind them. This is the racing action that we all love to see, man. It is an absolute dogfight out there on the racetrack, whether or not it's for the top spot or if it's for the 5th position or even a little farther back. These drivers continue to make moves, continue to try to drive their way up towards the front of the field. You see Joshua Moore trying to make some moves here around that 0-5 right of Joe Bennett. The 44 of Paul Ferdinandi as they're all door-to-door down and through corner number 3 and out of 4 as the 40 ride of Nathan Nixon continues to lead the way here. Nixon out in front, throwing some sliders here, trying to throw some big blocks over that 92 ride of Clinton Woodby. Woodby gonna stick right to the back bumper here of that 40 ride as he's gonna push him deep down in to corner number 1 here this evening. Woodby takes a jump down low, looking to slide up and clear a battle door-to-door with Nixon down the back straightaway as it's Nixon's teammate, the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 2 ride of Daniel Dow now into position number 3 as Caleb Kleinert and Rooster Rod, and now rounding out our top 5 on the racetrack. But here comes Skylar Berry, here comes Rusty Modesty, the 318 ride right there, as well as you do see Clinton Woodby jump up and clear that number 40 ride, and it looks like Woodby is going to win stage number 1 here this evening. If that was our stage break, the official stage right there, that would put Clinton Woodby out in front, but I'm not sure if they may have called that stage a little earlier. With some early caution flags here, the admin crew may have elected to call that stage a little bit sooner than what it was. Let's take a look and see if we can get a look at it as Not sure if we'll get an update for that or if we will see the caution flag come out. I'm not 100% sure there. As let me see. I'm not too sure if we are going to get an information on that or not, or if we'll see if the stage was called early. There's no caution flag, so I'm assuming they used the caution prior to lap 25, around lap 18 there. So we'll have to wait and see how the officials officially score that, but nonetheless, they're still battling here at the front of the field as that 46 of Skylar Berry now looking for the race lead. So Skylar Berry looking to jump out in front, as he says Detroit is everybody on the back bumper right there. Detroit is not me, that is for certain. Detroit is definitely not me. Philadelphia is everybody. Or, oh, it says Detroit versus everybody. Detroit versus everybody. I mean, well, that makes sense. It's Detroit wouldn't face off versus Detroit. they're always facing off versus everybody else, so that kind of makes sense. But nonetheless, Skylar Berry's got that car out in front, trying to bring his Detroit Lions at least a trophy here on the year. As Berry in the top spot, got Clinton Woodby and Nathan Nixon right there behind him. As Nixon having a solid run here this evening in that Team Vesta's Wind number 40 ride, as he rolls down the back front straightaway here, down across the line with Clinton Woodby right there with him. Rooster Rodden back there in position number 4 with Caleb Kleinert there in 5th. Rusty Modesty back in 6th. You do see that 318 ride of Matthew Catania sliding backwards. Now there's contact. Look out. The 40 ride sideways on the racetrack. There goes Nathan Nixon around. So Nixon goes around here at a corner number 2, and the caution flag will be back out on the racetrack. Some pretty good front end damage there for that 40 run. Unfortunately for that Ford machine, he's going to have to try to head down pit side and get that repaired as quickly as possible. As let's take a look at it. Tight racing here for that second position. And I'm not sure if he gets a little help in hand right here. If he just gets loose down low, looks like he just gets a little arrow loose right here. The 40 Ryan gets loose, washes up the track, bounces off the 92. Nowhere to go there for Caleb Kleinert as he gets a little piece of him, and so does in that 0-5 of Joe Bennett. As Bennett does get a little bit of a T-bone action right there, but you see just how quickly things can go wrong out there on the racetrack, having such a good race, and then all of a sudden right here, the rear end just going to start to step out and around on him. You see that truck starting to slide sideways. He tries to correct it. Car kind of wiggles loose and washes up the track here, bounces off Clinton Woodby. Now, great piece of driving here by Woodby as he's able to kind of save that truck. Now, he does get a little piece of the outside fence, but not much, as he's able to get that thing pointed back in the right direction. Doesn't look like he really loses any positions, but for the 40 ride here, Nathan Nixon goes around right there. That's where he tags that 0-5 ride. It unfortunately gets some pretty sizable front end damage there. Hopefully more cosmetic than what it is internally under the hood there of that 40 ride. And we'll see him continue to keep on battling in the rock solid rigs later on here today, as we'll see if he can try to race his way back up towards the front of the field, as we'll get all these drivers ready to go to battle here. We do see a slew of drivers head down pit side. A lot of drivers electing not to come down pit road here. They're being led by Clinton Woodby down pit side. Modesty, Nick Gardner, Matthew Catania, Daniel Dow, Matt Hayden, Joe Bennett, Paul Ferdinandi, Michael Madden, all coming down pit side. Here comes Keith Prince. Nathan Nixon also headed down pit road here. We saw Coop Reed, Bruce Bernard. A lot of these drivers all coming down pit side. Now, a lot of them not really getting a whole lot of work or anything else. Just looks like a lot of splash and goes. Drivers getting fuel, and doesn't look like a whole lot of tires or anything going on these cars. Everyone's kind of just getting a little top up here on fuel and rolling back out onto the racetrack. And that's honestly not a bad idea here. At a racetrack like this, you just never quite know when potentially you may see a lot of green flag laps. Things could really open up, and if we start to get into potentially green flag pit stops, having this a bit of advantage between yourselves and a lot of these other drivers that did stay out could be the winning move here this evening. When we look up there, we see Skylar Berry, Rooster Rodden, the 196 of Caleb Kleiner, the 00 of Nate Cogdell, Ashley Ellison Jr., Colton Hardy, all staying out on the racetrack here as they'll take that track position, be at the front of the field and ready for this big restart where Nick Garner and the rest of the pack all coming down pit side. So 7th on back to about the 21st position, all coming down pit side. They're on lap number 30, getting fuel, getting ready to go back to green flag racing as the number 87 rider, John Herbert. Herbert did spend a little extra time down pit road, has went a couple laps down here himself. Now, he was the lucky dog here during this yellow flag. So for the 87 rider, John Herbert, he's feeling good. He's feeling pretty happy. He's only a couple laps outside of the lead lap now, so a couple more quick caution flags could get him right back into the action. And to honestly say, that's not impossible. We saw Michael Madden come back from 2 laps down there with a couple quick caution flags at the start of this race. So for the 15 ride, Madden, he's able to do it. Potentially, we could see Mr. John Herbert get back into that battle as well, as we did see Muehlberger Custom Homes, number 51, right back down pit side right there. Same with Paul Ferdinandi and Joe Bennett also came down pit road. They're on lap 31. So you're trying to save that extra little bit of fuel. Maybe getting that 1 lap extra may play a factor later in this race. Just having that little bit extra in your back pocket may be able to help you in the long run and putting yourself into victory lane as we get ready to go back to battle here this evening as the 46 ride of Skylar Berry out in front will get ready to see the green flag fly. Alrighty, here we go. Getting ready to see the green flag come back out here at Michigan International Speedway. As the 46 of Skylar Berry sees that green flag fly, he quickly jumps onto the lap pedal. As he quickly jumps out in front, clearing that 0-1 on Rooster Rod, as it seemed like that inside lane just did not fire off quite the way they wanted to, as that's going to be able to allow that 0-0 of Nate Cogdell there for a little bit to clear that 0-1, but here comes the inside groove. Rooster Ronning starting to battle back here down low on the inside. He's got Caleb Kleinert right there with him, but here comes that 97 to Colton Hardy. Hardy right into that mix as well. We got to look a little deeper in the field at drivers that maybe try to storm their way up and through the traffic. You look at the 6th rider, Rusty Modesty. Rusty right there, battling his way now into 6. Here comes Jesse Calloway. He's up into 7th. We got a few more drivers like Nick Gardner, Daniel Dow quickly working through some of these older fuel mileage cars, maybe a little bit different tire, I'm not too sure, but some drivers starting to fall backwards. Other drivers really starting to march their way back up towards the front. And see the 2 rides trying to get back up there. We take a look a little farther behind him. There's that 15 of Michael Madden. Madden would love to get back into the mix here at the front of the field. Same with Matt Hayden and Matthew Catania, as these 3 drivers have been at the front of the field. They've all won races here this year. They're all stuck about mid-pack out there on the racetrack, and not the place you want to be here at Michigan as they look to try to get back into the fight up towards the front of the pack. Nixon, who we saw just go around there, did get that truck repaired in the Vestas number 40 ride. The Rock Solid Rigs machine down low, looking to keep on moving forward here. He's going to be driving like a bat out of hell, trying to put himself into a position to potentially try to win this race here and have that truck repaired again, and being able to battle and try to race his way back up towards the front is good to see out there for that 40 ride. As out in front of the field, it is now the 0-0, the paper cuts, the Turbo HP Revco Electrical number 00 ride. It is Nate Cogdell out in front of the field, leading the Metalheads Truck Series here at Michigan International Speedway in the Revco Electrical 200 here this evening. As Cogdell, Rusty Modesty, Skylar Berry right there, our top 3 on the racetrack. Modesty was one of those drivers that came down pit road, made that pit stop there on lap number 30. Right now he's the farthest forward driving that was down pit side, but you quickly see a couple more of these cats right into the mix. Here comes Clinton Woodby. Here comes that 2 of Daniel Dow. The 4 of Jesse Calloway. They were also down pit side there on lap number 30. When we look back through the field, Ashley Ellison Jr. was one of those drivers that stayed out out on the racetrack. Ashley already back into about the 12th position here on the speedway. Rooster Rodden, he was out there. He's now back into 8th. Caleb Kleinert, he was up inside the top 3 there as that restart kind of got underway. And here's Caleb now back into position number 11 on the racetrack. That's a tough break there for Caleb Kleiner. Then we also see a few of these other guys just trying to hang on, like Colton Hardy, Skylar Berry, some of these guys trying to keep themselves pointed the right direction, but we do see Rusty Modesty work his way to the front of the field. Daniel Dow right there with them in position number 2. So for Rusty and Daniel Dow, both getting to the front of the pack now and working themselves around some of those drivers that are on a little bit different fuel strategy here this evening. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out here today as the laps continue to get clicked off. We get closer and closer here to our halfway marker out there on the racetrack. Each and every one of these drivers looking to try to figure out this race, try to figure out what they need to do to win this thing, man. This has been a very, very exciting race. Obviously, a lot of different strategy. We didn't see these drivers that came down and got fuel. We didn't really see them take tires, so the speed has got to be maybe just a little bit more weight in your trucks. Not sure, or maybe potentially the drivers that came down pit road on lap 17 are now starting to save a little bit more fuel, trying to figure out where they need to be to try to stay competitive and not have to make off-schedule pit stops with the rest of the field. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of plays out as they're falling back still here on the speedway. Our top 4 now all were down pit road. They're on lap 30. Now you add in our 5th place driver, Michael Madden, was down pit side there during that last caution flag. Nate Cogdell now back into 6th. Same with Colton Hardy there in 7th. Barry there in 8th. And then we see a little farther back, Rooster Rodden now into the 11th position. Caleb Kleiner back in 14th. Ashley Ellison Jr. there in 17th. As we do see one driver up into the outside fence, it's Colton Hardy. Hardy into the outside wall here. Heavy right front damage here for that 97 ride. Let's play this back and take a look at it. See what happens here as down the front straightaway into corner number 1. I'm not sure if there's contact here, but it looks like there is between the 46 and that 97 ride. And that is a big, big hit right here for that 97 machine of Hardy's. Hardy trying to keep on rocking and rolling. He's already tight against the fence on corner entry, but that's kind of where you want to be. You want to be tight up there, trying to get that extra drive and maybe a little extra aerodynamics there, and all of a sudden, it looks like that 46 run just ever so slightly comes up the track here and into the 97 machine. So watch the 46 down low. 97 up on the high side. Now the 97 does leave the outside wall, but he's not really moving down his lane. The 46 does move up, but unfortunately it gets into that left rear quarter panel. Now the 97 trying to save it, trying to catch it. All of a sudden the car just snaps up into the outside fence, and heavy right front damage there for him. As that truck definitely going to be hurting out there on the speedway. Now we do see him down pit side here. Now that's a heartbreaker for the 97 ride, having to make that off-schedule pit stop here. And all of a sudden, he's now a lap down out on the racetrack, and that is not a fun place to be. As out in front, it's the 2 ride of Daniel Dow. Dow has the race lead with Rusty Modesty there in 2nd. Matt Hayden back in position number 3 with Michael Madden and Clinton Woodby, our top 5 here on the speedway. As these drivers continue to put on a heck of a show for us, man. This has been a lot of fun. These guys are not backing down one little bit here this evening, as John Bernard Jr. says that looked intentional from the number 46. I don't know if that was intentional or not, as John says, free cheeseburgers if the 17 wins. Ooh, baby, I like free cheeseburgers. I ain't gonna lie. I am not gonna lie about that one. That's for certain. That's for certain. I like free cheeseburgers. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. As we got John Bernard Jr. and John Bernard Sr. here in the chat, cheering them on as the 17 right is now climbing as Ooh, baby, he's climbing. He's moving up through the field. It's going to be a tough one for Bruce here, but he's got that beautiful Florida Gators number 17 right hooked up here today, and he's going to be looking to try to march his way up and through the field, and he's definitely going to be looking to he's chomping at the bits for a good run here, and I know he's going to be looking to try to pick up potentially a solid top 10, top 5 run, and if he can get lucky or something goes right here this evening, maybe we see Bruce pick up his first checkered flag here with the Metalheads Truck Series. As Megan White says, let's go Woodby, cheering on Woodby here this evening. As John says, well, there goes the 40s chances. Well, it's still a long, long race. Luckily enough for some of those drivers that got tied up and got tore up early on here this evening, luckily enough for them, there is still a lot of time if they're on the racetrack. You can have early mistakes and kind of rebound from it, work yourself back into the battle, and we see that right now as we see Michael Madden. He was that first driver that kind of got turned around in hard contact into that inside fence, and for the 15 ride, he's rolling there in that 4th position. He's still within striking distance of potentially picking up this checkered flag, and we're not even halfway through this race, so being able to rebound that quickly, now it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher to rebound like that later on here this evening, but it's going to get very interesting here in a quick hurry. We talked about the fuel mileage and how some of these drivers that came down pit road there on lap number 30 stayed out a little bit longer than these other drivers, and obviously not coming down pit road. And since lap 17, we now see Nate Cogdell, we see Caleb Kleinert, Skylar Berry, Ashley Ellison Jr., all heading down pit side here. Green flag pit stops here for these drivers that were down pit road last on lap number 17 here this evening, and now for these guys, that's going to set them back quite a ways and potentially put them a lap down. We do see Rooster Rodden had already made his green flag pit stop, obviously an off-schedule pit stop there for the 97 to Colton Hardy. Hardy was going to have to pit for fuel anyway, so somewhat worked out for him to where he probably would have been in the same situation, being a lap down. As well, to take a look, you do see Skylar Berry and Nate Cogdell right here. Cogdell, unfortunately, not going to be able to stay on the lead lap either, but he's the first driver on that pit strategy out there on the racetrack, and he currently sits in that lucky dog position. Now what these drivers really need to see is this kind of stay clean and green and see this whole thing kind of cycle back through, where all these drivers that were down pit road on lap number 30 and 31 having to come down pit side here in another 10-13 laps and having to cycle back around and trying to put them back onto the lead lap here today that way. As of right now, though, it's Rusty Modesty with that race lead. Rusty out in front, leading the way here with Matt Hayden there in second. Daniel Dow in third with Madden there in fourth. Clinton Woodby now into that 5th position is Matthew Catania, Coop Reed, Nathan Nixon there in 8th. Then we see Jesse Calloway and Bruce Bernard rounding out our top 10. Nick Gardner back in 11th with Joe Bennett there in position number 12. Paul Ferdinand there in 13th, Keith Prince and Joshua Moore rounding out our top 15. Now Joshua Moore is the last driver on the lead lap here this evening. Nate Cogdell, the first car, 1 lap down, rolling there in 16th. Skylar Berry back in 17th, not too far back behind his rear bumper there for that lucky dog position, so that may be another big battle we'll have to keep a close eye on between Nate Cogdell and Berry for that lucky dog ticket here if a caution flag were to fly. Rooster Rodden there in 18th. Caleb Kleiner back in 19th with Ashley Ellison Jr. Colton Hardy and John Herbert unfortunately back down pit road here for John Herbert. And for Herbert, he is back at least a few laps down here. That's a tough spot to be here for the Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters, the Sky Soldiers number 87 ride as he rolls back in the 22nd position here this evening. As the Sinclair Dino Care number 6 ride out in front, continuing to lead this race. What a run here for this number 6 machine as Rusty Modesty has this race lead, looking to try to keep all these drivers back there at bay. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button here this evening and become part of the Peacemaker family. As man, oh man, oh man, the racing action here today is just absolutely Amazing, man. This track has been a lot of fun already. We've seen some very, very good battles out there on the Speedway, and I don't think we're done seeing them yet, as we're going to continue to see these guys duke it out, especially if we get into some of these late race restarts out there on the racetrack. And we start to get into even green-white checkers here. We saw what some of those restarts look like when these drivers are pushing it 3, 4, 5 wide out there on the racetrack. It's going to get super duper intense, and it's going to get a whole lot of fun in a quick hurry. As we do see that number 318, Matthew Catania. Catania trying to work his way up and through the top 5 now as he's battled back around the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Woodby slides back to 6. Catania now into position number 5, and he's looking to try to get around a pair of these Anything EC Sparkle and Shine machines as Michael Madden and Daniel Dow going to try to hold him back there at bay. Matt Hayden there in second, trying to jump up and see if he can make that move around the 6 rider Rusty Modesty, but look at the run for the 318 down the inside. A big run there for Matthew Catania, and that's another big thing here. Is the speed, the momentum, and the potential where tires may play a factor here. Now, tire wear is probably going to become somewhat of an advantage when we look at the drivers that are out on the racetrack right now that were down pit side on lap number 30. Now, I don't think they took tires on lap number 30, but I think for a lot of these other drivers, they had taken tires during that green flag pit stop. And we look back at these guys like Nate Cogdell, like Rooster Rod, and they have jumped up and they have tracked down our race leaders. And look at the speed difference here. Last time around, they were roughly about a second quicker than our race leader. And there you go. You see that speed. You see that pure dominance out of the fresher tires as the 0-0. And Nate Cogdell races his way back onto the lead lap, driving right on around our lead pack out there on the racetrack. Not too far behind, you do see Rooster Rodden right there as well. We'll see if he can navigate his way through that traffic just as easy as Nate Cogdell did, as you see all these other drivers moving around, trying to continue battling here at the front of the field, as you do see Catania now up and into third. But we did see Joshua Moore. Moore does come down pit road here as well. So the Muhlenberger Custom Homes number 51 rider Joshua Moore heads down pit side. He's looking to get some service here to this 51 truck, as they're going to jack him up. They're going to throw at least right side tires onto his truck. There's the right or left side getting jacked up. So he's going to get 4 fresh tires and a tank of fuel, and here he comes, rolling back out onto the racetrack. Keith Prince also heading down pit side in the American Sign Language Songs for Sound number 3 machine down pit road, looking to get service here as well as our top 13, all yet to make this additional green flag pit stop, as Cogdell going to be trying to leapfrog a lot of these drivers. Obviously having a better race truck and better tires right now. He is out in front. He doesn't have any dirty air really on his nose now, so he's going to be able to lay down some really fast lap times. And if he can continue to lay these laps down and we stay clean and green, as our race leaders come down pit road, it's going to really put them into a curious situation here, as the fresh tires are going to be able to leapfrog these guys. They will have the better tires, though, later in the run. So they'll be kind of on opposite ends of the strategy, where we'll see these drivers start to race their way around the drivers that are passing them right now. You saw that 0-1 rider Rooster Rod and get around him. You saw the 46 right now with Skylar Berry. They're the drivers that have those fresher tires that were down pit side there on lap 44, lap 45. And here they are navigating their way around our race leaders. And now you do see our race leaders all start to head down pit road. Here comes Rusty Modesty. Here comes Matt Hayden, Matthew Catania, Daniel Dow, Michael Madden, Clinton Woodby, Nathan Nixon down pit side. Here's Bruce Bernard down pit road. Jesse Calloway also down pit side. Now we'll have to see where everyone kind of cycles back around and where this ends up rounding out to be, as we do see Nick Gardner, Joe Bennett, and Paul Ferdinandi all still out there on the racetrack. Now for Joe Bennett and Paul Ferdinandi, they were back down pit road on lap 31, so they actually have a 1 lap better fuel economy than what a lot of these other drivers that came down pit road on lap 30 do. So maybe they stay out for a few extra laps, or maybe not. And here we go. We do see Nick Gardner. We do see Paul Ferdinandi do come down pit side for Joe Bennett. He stays out on the racetrack, does not come down pit road for that 0-5 machine. So Joe Bennett going to stay out a little bit longer here, as it looks like Nate Cogdell well is going to kind of round out and jump into the race lead here once Bennett and everyone else comes down pit side. As Rooster Ronin, they're in position number 5 right now, but will be in position number 2. Matt Hayden out of the pits here, able to slide up into 6th, and Rusty Modesty, Catania, Skylar Berry back there in 9th. Now for Berry, that's a tough position for him as the drivers in front of him now and the drivers mostly behind him all came down pit road there on lap number 56, so they've got about 11 lap better tires than this 46 ride, and they should be able to make quick and easy work of them out there on the speedway. We'll have to wait and see as we do see Joe Bennett now starting to head down pit side as Nate Cogdell next time around the start finish line should take over this race lead once again from Bennett out there on the racetrack. Ronin will be scored there in second with Hayden all the way back here in position number 3 on the speedway. As here they come down and out at corner number 4. Joe Bennett still down pit side, just getting this truck jacked up on the left-hand side, just getting tires put onto that left side here, and there's our race leader going right on by him as it's Nate Cogdell back out in front. But for Cogdell, how long can he stay out in front? Is Matt Hayden with fresher tires, about 11 lap better tires, going to be catching up to him in a quick hurry as that Razor Toyota steamrolling right up to the back bumper here of this 0-0 ride. Modesty right there into 3rd. We do see Catania up inside the top 5 here as well. He'll be looking to keep on moving forward as he was just able to get in front of Daniel Dow. Michael Madden and Clinton would be there before these green flag pit stops started. And look out, here comes Daniel Dow back down pit road. Looks like potentially a pit road speeding penalty here for the 2 ride. That is a heartbreaker there for Daniel Dow out on the speedway, man. That is definitely not a situation you want to be in if you're one of these drivers, as he ends up back down pit side into his pit stall here. And oh man, this is a heartbreaker for him. It looks like he's gonna have to serve a penalty down pit road. Heartbreaker there for one of our top 5 competitors, and that is the risk of green flag pit stops out there on the racetrack. And for Daniel Dow, definitely going to be a tough one here this evening. Let's see if we can even get Daniel up and into the booth right here. Let's see if we can find him out there and see if maybe we can get him up here into the broadcast booth. All right, there we go. We can't see him. Let's see if we can drag him up into the booth right now. Hey, Daniel, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Daniel, brother, we saw you just make that green flag pit stop. Coming back down pit side here. Looks like you may have gotten a penalty and a hold, man. Take us back through it. What's kind of going through your mind?
Yeah, I stepped on it. I freaking gassed it up like 1 second too soon, and it popped me.
Oh,
so I'm having to serve the penalty. I was hoping for a caution. I stayed out for a couple laps, but that didn't happen, and now that pretty much just shot my race.
Yeah, that is very, very tough. Obviously not easy to come back from. Obviously now a lap or 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, and this late in the race, and with how this is kind of going now with obviously early caution flags, if we were to see that slew of yellows come back out, potentially you get yourself back into the action. We saw your teammate Michael Madden be able to bounce back from the 2 laps down after the early incident himself, and now into a very, very tough situation. Daniel, that's a tough break, brother. We wanted to check in and see what was going on with you out there on the racetrack, man. That is a heartbreaker, but I know you'll be giving everything you got lap after lap and trying to either help yourself get back on the lead lap or try to help your teammates up into the victory lane.
Yeah, if I can say the first car lap down here, which I'm actually not, so it's going to be tough from here unless we just have a caution fest, which you never know.
You never know. That's the big thing, and you always got to be very optimistic about how these things can play out. We'll be looking for you and see if you can try to slide yourself back into the action here this evening. Daniel, we just want to check in with you, brother, and hopefully a turn of events here late in this race to go your way.
Yes, sir. Been pretty exciting so far. It seemed like I was white knuckle the whole time I was up toward the front, but like I said, it should be a good finish. I'm rooting for all the guys to have a clean finish and just a hard race.
Absolutely, brother. Well, good luck. Have fun out there.
Yes, sir, buddy. Appreciate you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Give it up there for Daniel Dow. Is Dow able to jump in here during the green flag conditions, which we appreciate. And obviously, he was down pit road there when we first pulled him in. Penalty, speeding down pit road. And unfortunately for Daniel Dow, he got nabbed and had to serve that penalty. Now a lap down. He'll have to try to battle back from that one. Is out in front. It's Matt Hayden. Matt Hayden out in front leading this race as Hayden jumps into the top spot here in that 5 ride. Rusty Modesty right there on his back bumper. A few truck lengths back, you do see the number 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania rolling there in that 3rd spot on the speedway. Clinton would be there in 4th with Michael Madden, rounding out our top 5 here on the racetrack as Nate Cogdell back in position number 6. Rooster Ronin there in 7th. Caleb Kleiner back in 8th with Nick Gardner, and Skylar Berry rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. But it's not for long as there's the 3 ride of Keith Prince down to the inside. Looks like Prince going to get around that 46th ride. Moves Skylar Berry back to 11th, now back to 12th as Prince and Joshua Moore able to get around him. And now look out for that Muhlenberger 51 machine as here comes Joshua Moore trying to race his way back inside the top 10 here this evening as he works out to the inside of that 3 machine for position number 10 on the racetrack. Paul Ferdinandi there in position number 13. Ashley Ellison Jr. and Joe Bennett right there in 14th and 15th. Cooper Reed back in the 16th position with Nathan Nixon there in 17th. Now for Nixon, and he's still on the lead lap here. We do see Colton Hardy though back down pit road. Tough break here for Colton Hardy after the contact between him and the 46 up into the outside fence. Now off on a different pit strategy, different pit cycles here than everybody else. Going to put him into a very tough position for the number 4 ride here. Unfortunately here for Jesse Callaway, he's the first truck a lap down. Luckily enough, if we do see a caution flag fly, he could be in that free pass position. Same with Bruce Bernard there in 17, in the 19th position here. Bruce also 1 lap down, hoping to get some caution flags, hoping to get that lucky dog himself. And then Daniel Dow, who we just talked to, he wants to get that lucky dog. He wants to get back on the lead lap, and he's got to be very, very careful here, as right now he's only 1 lap down, but could quickly become 2 laps down out there on the racetrack as our race leader is not too far off of his back bumper. As Dow sends it back down into corner number 1, there's our race leaders right behind him, Matt Hayden and Rusty Modesty, Matthew Catania right there in tow. Catania looking to try to pick up win number 3 in a row. He's been a man on a mission, winning the last 2 races here with the Metalheads Truck Series, and he's trying to make it a 3-peat here at Michigan International Speedway. We'll have to wait and see if Catania can get it done and put himself back up and into victory lane here on the season. Now for a lot of these drivers, we saw them kind of make about a I don't even know what we want to call it, 25 26 laps of a run right there. So for a lot of these drivers that were down pit road around lap number 45, we're inching closer and closer to a portion where they may have to come back down pit road. Now they're going to want to try to make it and try to stretch it here. If they can only make it 25 26 laps, you really want to try to make it a little bit farther here, especially if you're Nate Cogdell or any of these other drivers, because if you can make it a few more laps, you could potentially put yourself into a position where you will not have to make another pit stop here on the evening. But if you pit too soon, you really open up that door for running out of fuel late in this race and being put into a tough position later on this evening. So we'll have to wait and see when Cogdell, when some of these other drivers like Caleb Kleinert and Rooster Rodden, some of these other cats that may have to make their way down pit road. Now you do see Rooster Rodden heads down pit side here. Now this has got to be too early. Rooster came down pit road on lap number 45. He's back down pit road here at the completion of lap number 68. So really, it's lap 69 here. That is what, only, is that 5, 10, almost 25 laps, 24 laps of racing action for this 0-1 ride. If you run another 24 laps, you're about 6-7 laps shy of fuel out there on the speedway, and that is definitely not a spot you want to be is short late in these races, especially if we see this stay clean and green out there on the racetrack. For Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty, Matthew Catania, all these drivers, they are good to go. They can try to drive all the way into around lap number 80 before they have to come down pit road as Nate Cogdell, unfortunately, back down pit side here early as well. Same with Caleb Kleinert, Ashley Ellison Jr., so they virtually made it about 25 laps out there on the racetrack before having to make this green flag pit stop again. And unfortunately for these drivers, that is going to put them into a very, very difficult position out there on the speedway, because if they can only run 25 laps, they still have virtually 30 laps of racing action left, which means that they're going to be about 4 or 5 laps shy of fuel, man, and that is a absolute heartbreaker for them, as that means that if we stay clean and green, well, no chances really for them to save that amount of fuel. As out in front, continue to lead the way, it is still Matt Hayden. Hayden at the front of the field here. He's at the helm today and looking to try to maybe put this to ride. Another lap down for Daniel Dow. He wants to stay 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. Does not want to fall the 2 laps down, but all of a sudden our race leader's all over his back bumpers. Here comes Skylar Berry. Berry also down pit road there on lap number 71. So it's going to get very, very tight for fuel for a lot of those guys that did not come down pit road there on lap number 30. A lot of these drivers that did make their pit stop on lap 30 then able to come down pit road just after lap number 55, lap number 53-ish area. These guys should be clean and green all the way around to about lap number, probably, I'm going to say, around lap 80. If I were them, I'd probably try to make it at least, lap 77, lap 78 before coming down pit side, maybe even lap 80. It gives you that big, big buffer where if we do get some late race caution flags and we potentially have NASCAR overtime, then you won't have to worry about coming back down pit side and running out of fuel yourself. So for these guys like Hayden, Catania, Rusty Modesty, Michael Madden, you're really got to try to make it to that number. You got to have those numbers in the back of your mind, knowing that the green-white checkers could play a factor, could jump out and bite you in the butt here late in that race if you try to run it a little too close just to lap 100 marker here this evening. As the action continues to heat up, these drivers continue to put on an absolutely amazing show for us here as Hayden at the front of the field here, right on the back bumper of that Sparkle and Shine number 2 ride, is Daniel Down trying to keep himself here 1 lap down, wanting to not put himself out of competition here. If you fall 2 laps down, there's so many drivers now that are a lap down out on the racetrack that unfortunately you could fall quite a bit behind here. And if other drivers, if you got a handful that have to get waiver rounds before you, then all of a sudden you're kind of stuck in that spot and needing 6 or 7 caution flags, which is more than likely not going to happen this late in the race. So you really just need to keep yourself in the hunt right here for that 2 ride. Stay in front of our race leaders, try to stay 1 lap down and hope to see a caution flag here as quickly as possible where you can kind of get back into the battle with the other lap down drivers. Hope for another yellow flag and hope to work yourself back into the lead lap here on the speedway. Is out in front. Hayden starting to see that 318 ride, though, getting a little closer and closer and closer to his back bumper. As there we go, down across the line. They will complete lap number 75. So 3/4 of the race done here this evening. 3/4 done and about 25 more laps left to go here for these drivers. So for Hayden, Catania, Rusty Modesty, Michael Madden, who rolls there in 4th. Clinton Woodby, Nick Gardner, Paul Ferdinandi, Joe Bennett, Keith Prince, and Joshua Moore rounding out our top 10 right now on the speedway. They got to be feeling pretty good. They know that more than likely they will be good to go here on fuel. Once they come down pit side at pretty much any point after right now, that they will be able to make it on fuel to the end of this race. Now, if we do see yellow flags out there on the racetrack, they have that little bit extra, definitely going to be a good factor for them. And we see virtually all these drivers that were down pit road on lap number 56, lap 55 there, and some a little earlier, some a little later. They all stay out on the racetrack here. They're going to continue to keep on rolling. I feel like we're probably going to see these guys make it to around lap number, I'm going to say probably around lap 80. But I could be wrong. Maybe they wait until around lap 78, 79, somewhere in there. But I feel like lap 80 is kind of a great number to come down pit road. That gives you 5 extra laps of green, white checkers and everything else. So we'll have to wait and see when these drivers elect to pull that trigger, head down pit road, and see if any other drivers end up having issues and end up, unfortunately, having to make those extra green flag pit stops like we saw out of that 2 riders. Here we go, Joshua Moore. He was one of the first drivers to come down pit side during that first wave of green flag pit stops around lap 55. He came down at 53, which puts him a couple laps sooner than a lot of these other drivers. So Joshua Moore down pit road. He's looking to make his pit stop, getting tires, getting fuel, getting everything else that he needs to slide back out there on the racetrack. As Catania, Hayden, the rest of these drivers looks like they're going to stay out here. We'll have to wait and see when the next driver elects to come down pit road. Thought maybe it would be this 3 ride of Keith Prince. Prince did come down pit road a lap after Joshua Moore did during that last wave, but looks like he'll stay out for an additional lap here this evening as the 318 of Matthew Catania leads the way, nice and easy, but here we go. We do see Coop Reed. Coop Reed heads down pit road. So Coop Reed making his final pit stop of the day, and this really still brings in the big question here for a lot of these drivers, like Nate Cogdell, like Ashley Ellison Jr., Skylar Berry, a lot of these guys that had to come down pit road there fairly early here. Are they going to be good on fuel? Are they going to be able to make it the rest of the way? It's going to be too tough to tell. As here we go. Keith Prince now down pit road here on lap 79. So here we go. This is a very, very exciting, chat. This is very interesting to see when drivers are going to pull that trigger and how much of an advantage or disadvantage may it give them. And just the battle here at the front of the field. You see Catania leading this race, but it's Matt Hayden right there on his back bumper. We saw Hayden leading some laps there. Catania able to jump up and take that race lead away from him. Now here we go. Our race leaders going to head down pit road. Here comes Catania, Hayden, Modesty, Clinton Woodby, all down pit side here. We did see Michael Madden, though, elect to stay out for an additional lap. Same with Nick Gardner, going to stay out as well for another lap here in this race. Joe Bennett, Paul Ferdinandi, they're going to stay out a little bit longer here as well, as another 4-car pack down pit side. And that's what really kind of opens up this racetrack here. And that's what really makes things more and more interesting. When we see these restarts, everything is so tight. These drivers are nose to tail. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 and 5 wide out there on the racetrack. But when it comes to these green flag pit stops, it really opens up this racetrack and really gives a lot of these drivers some big room out there on the racetrack to navigate the speedways. We do see Matt Hayden come out with the race lead. Catania a little bit back behind him. Modesty there in third, and here comes Woodby coming out in fourth, as we do see now Michael Madden heading down pit road. So Madden heads down pit side. Here comes Nathan Nixon as well, also down pit road, but Madden giving up that race lead to head down pit side as the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC ride slides it down through his pit stall. That's going to hurt his chances here this evening. That little bit of a mistake, that little bit of a slide eliminates a second. That's a second on the racetrack, a second that he may need to potentially pick up a win here this evening. As Nick Gardner now has this race lead. We saw this the first wave of green flag pit stops. Gardner, Bennett, Paul Ferdinandi all kind of stayed out a little bit longer than everybody else. Is now here we go. Here comes Gardner, here comes Bennett, here comes Paul Ferdinandi, and Ferdinandi goes for a slide down on pit road. That's a heartbreaker there for the Rolling Rock 44 ride. Got her in reverse. You got to back her up, Terry, and get that thing rolling again down onto pit lane. And unfortunately, that is going to really hurt Paul's chances of a good finish here this evening, as that should cycle things back around. And it looks like Matt Hayden will stay as our race leader. So Hayden out in front of the field here now has this race lead with only about 18 laps left to go. Matthew Catania there in position number 2. Modesty back in third. Then we see Michael Madden in position number 4. He'll be looking for more here late in this race. Clinton Woodby, Nick Gardner, our top 6 out there on the racetrack. For Gardner just building up speed down on the apron here. Is Rooster Rodden going to be able to get around him? We'll have to wait and see where Nick Gardner kind of gets out onto the racetrack, as here comes Joshua Moore. Here comes that 3 machine Joe Bennett right there as well. And for Nick Gardner, he's able to just stay in front of those guys. And for the 27, he's up into the 7th position here. He's got a little bit better tires than a few of these drivers in front of him. Rooster Rodden, a lot of these other cats that are up here in this battle, going to have to make another pit stop here. When you look at Rooster Rodden, you look at Ashley Ellison Jr., Nate Cogdell, a lot of these drivers going to have to make additional pit stops. Skylar Berry potentially there in the 46, Ryan Colton Hardy, the 196 of Caleb Kleiner. A lot of these guys probably going to have to make additional pit stops here before the end of this race. Probably cannot make it on fuel, so that is going to be a absolute heartbreaker for them out there on the racetrack, as we're going to jump into a very quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys know what to do, man. Crank up that volume. Cheer on your favorite drivers out there on the racetrack as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session out there on the racetrack as we're within 8 laps left to go. Here of our checkered flag is out in front. It is the number 5 rider, Matt Hayden, who holds down the fort, continues to lead this race. Hayden looking to try to put himself up and into victory lane here this evening with that 3:18 rider, Matthew Catania. We saw Catania fall back to third there for a little while, but it maybe try to save a little tire, maybe try to keep that truck a little bit more at ease, try to keep those tires a little bit cooler. Now going to work here, trying to find his way back around Matt Hayden. Can Hayden hold him off? These guys are not going to take it easy on each other. They know this is the battle for what could be our race win here this evening, and neither driver is going to back down. They're not going to give an inch, and they're going to continue to duke it out. And the driver that may be sitting in the golden opportunity there may have used up his tires a little bit too soon is that 6 rider, Rusty Modesty. Modesty was able to jump up there, steal that second spot away for a little bit from Catania, but now slides back into third as here we go. Catania slides up in front, just clears the nose of the 5 line. Hayden has to cut down the racetrack quickly, back down to the inside as door to door, back down across the line, give the race lead to Matthew Catania here with 6 laps left to go. As John Bernard Jr. says, looks like no free cheeseburgers from the number 17 ride. Oh, no free cheeseburgers. Dang it. That's it. I'm going to have to text all these drivers, tell them to pull over, let the 17 ride win this race, so that way we can all get free cheeseburgers from John. We need those free cheeseburgers, Shaq. Come on now. We're hungry up here. We're hungry. We need them cheeseburgers. As Hayden takes that race lead back away, Matt at the front of the field with Catania back in second. Catania will have to try to mount another challenge here, another drive to try to get to the back bumper of this 5 ride to try to take this race lead away, as we talked about those drivers that came down pit road a little bit early. We said it was going to be around 6 laps short, and here they are. Here's that number 01, Rooster Rodden down pit road. Nate Cogdell also down pit side. Heartbreaker there for him. We did see the number 196, Caleb Kleiner, also make his green flag pit stop there, a late race pit stop for him. Here comes Ashley Ellison Jr., also down pit side, about 5 laps shy on fuel here for the 133 ride. Now we should expect to probably see Skylar Berry come down pit road. He's been way off the pace here. A lot of these drivers that were on the brink of not making it, all down on throttle here, just trying to make it to the end of this race without having to make this green flag pit stop. We did see Colton Hardy back down pit road there on lap number 90 as well, so it's going to get interesting here as there's Ashley Ellison Jr. getting done the stop and go, getting some fuel, rolling back out onto the racetrack. We'll have to wait and see if Barry has to come down pit side here as well, and here he comes down pit road. No, he's going to stay out for at least another lap here, so Barry's trying to stretch out that fuel as much as he can as Matt Hayden trying to stretch out this race lead as far as he can, trying to hold off Matthew Catania, trying to stop his three-peat with only 3 laps left to go. Can Catania jump up here and win his 3rd race in a row in that 3:18 machine as Rusty Modesty rolls there in position number 3. Honestly, burned off that equipment a little bit earlier than what I think he wanted to, and all of a sudden for that Sinclair Dental Care ride, he's kind of a few truck lengths back, just has to watch this unfold, hoping that these 2 in front of him kind of get tied together, maybe make some contact and open up the door for him to get back into that battle at the front of the field. As Hayden down through corner 3 and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. This time he will see the twin sticks from our flagman. 2 more laps left to go for the Razor Sonic Graphic Designs number 5 ride as that Toyota Tundra sees 2 more laps left to go. He's got about 2 truck lengths between himself and Catania here at the front of the field. Modesty about 6/10 farther back. They're in position number 3, and these 3 have about a 5-second lead advantage between themselves and the 15 ride of Michael Madden. As Madden rolls there in 4th, Clinton would be there in 5th. Nick Gardner up and into the 6th position with Keith Prince, Joe Bennett, Joshua Moore, and Paul Ferdinandi rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack. Coop Reed back in 11th with Nathan Nixon there in 12th as we take that white flag here at the beautiful Michigan International Speedway. So one more lap here this evening as Matt Hayden looking to pick up the checkered flag. You do see Catania fall a little further back here. A mistake down the front straightaway and into corner number 1 for the 318. He falls all the way back here and no longer on the back bumper of our race leader, and it's actually opened up the door here for Rusty Modesty to maybe try to steal position number 2 away from him. But for Matt Hayden, nice and easy down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4 for the final time here this evening, winning the Revco Electrical 200 here at Michigan International Speedway. It is Matt Hayden. Hayden picks up the dub and will pull this razor ride up and into victory lane as it's been razor sharp all evening long. There's a little congratulations there out of the 318 of Matthew Catania, paying his respects to that hard-fought battle there with Matt Hayden as Hayden's able to hang on to it and pull himself up and into victory lane. Man, what a run and what a drive here today for Matt Hayden, man. That was a hell of a performance for that Sonic Graphic Designs ride, the Sonic Racing family here this evening up and into victory lane, as that was definitely a great race. Definitely a great race. John says, free cheeseburgers for everyone. We love it. We love it. Free cheeseburgers for everyone. We love it. We appreciate that, John. As Hayden, he's going to get ready to celebrate here on the front straightaway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Matt Hayden, as Hayden will get ready to burn down the house here in Michigan as he picks up the big win here tonight in the Metalheads Truck Series, the Revco Electrical 200. Matt Hayden, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, burning down the house here, man. What a run, what a drive, what a performance here, not only by that 5 ride, but all of these drivers here this evening, man. They put on an absolutely amazing performance right from the drop of the green flag down to the checkered flag. It got a little bit crazy there in the first 20 laps of this race. We saw a slew of caution flags, a lot of tore up race cars, and obviously a few drivers running into pretty massive early mistakes here that really took them out of chances of potentially winning this race. A few of them being able to battle back. When you look back in fourth, and you see Michael Madden, so Madden able to rebound there after getting tied up in an early wreck, and the 15 comes home there in position number 4. Good rebound there for him. We saw obviously Joshua Moore kind of got tied up in that. He comes home in 9th, and for a lot of these other drivers just trying to continue to keep on battling. And then some of that pit strategy, pit cycle paying off well here for Matt Hayden and for a lot of these other drivers inside our top 12, top 14, unfortunately for drivers like Ashley Ellison Jr., Nate Cogdell, Skylar Berry, Colton Hardy, Caleb Kleinert. Obviously different pit strategy there during our lap 17 caution flag there. They elected to stay out on the racetrack, or actually they came down pit road on lap 17, but we had a caution flag there shortly after, just around lap 30, where we saw pretty much all these other drivers inside our top 15 come down pit road. And unfortunately for the other guys like Allison Jr., like Cogdell, Barry, Hardy, Caleb Kleiner, they elected to stay out. And that, in turn, eventually, the way that these pit cycles ran, put them behind the 8 ball, and having to make that late race pit stop really took them out of considerations here this evening for the race win. And that's a heartbreaker for them out there on the speedway. But for Matt Hayden, man, what a run, what a drive, and what a performance for him, as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here this evening for their post-race interviews. Post-race interviews coming up next here. Let's see if we can get these guys up and into the booth. Let's pull Matt Hayden in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Matt Hayden. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Matt, man, what a run, what a drive. Take us back through this one. Obviously, a few early race caution flags and then some pit strategy out there on the speedway. Kind of eliminated a few of those drivers, but here in this one, man, it was really a 3-car race late in this race, as we saw you, Catania, and Rusty Modesty duke it out there late in this one for that checkered flag, and you're able to obviously give up that race lead before that last pit stop. And then you come down pit road. I'm not sure if you did something different, took a little less fuel, or what you may have done to be able to to get out in front, but you were a second quicker off of pit lane in front of Catania, and that may have been the difference maker right there. Obviously, being able to hold him off late in this race, he was able to slide back in front of you, but you battled back and just having enough truck left over and enough tires left over to hold him off here this evening and pull yourself up into the Michigan International Speedway victory lane, man. Take us kind of through this race and what's going through your mind right now as you park there in victory lane.
Yeah, last battle with Matthew was that was a hell of a lot of fun. He was sitting in deep, but yeah, we I don't think we thought that tires were going to be like that big, but we definitely were trying to save a set towards the end because we kind of figured we'd get some cautions late. We thought we'd have a couple of restarts or something like that, but we got all that out of the way on the front end of the race. Had that early caution right before stage ended, so that kind of, I didn't know if that was going to help us or not. And then it just kind of played out with the draft and fuel mileage that we were kind of on the money as far as if we stayed green with tires. And I think I said that before to those guys. I was like, man, if this race stays green, I think we're golden. And kind of worked out. But it makes it a lot easier at a drafting track like this in the trucks, and you have a teammate with you. And me and Rusty stuck together, and I think that's what put us over the top here, was having a teammate in that group to help out. So appreciate him for all that.
Absolutely, and having your teammate up there duking it out with you and Catania, knowing that Catania has won the last two races here, and he was looking for the three-peat here this evening. Did that drive you maybe a little bit more, knowing that you wanted to make sure you definitely kept that 318 right out of victory lane?
Yeah, well, I think the bigger thing too was with the playoff standings. We're going to need as much as we can get, because obviously these last couple of weeks. There's a lot of good guys in this field, and there's anybody that could, have a good day, especially the tracks that we have listed for these playoffs. It's kind of a toss-up for some of these. But definitely, if I feel like things are kind of lining up between me and the 318 late in the season. So any advantage we can get, wins and playoff points and all that stuff to get ourselves in a better position, I think is important right now. But, ultimately it's just about winning damn races, and we've been in contention to win a bunch of these, and things happen. So, it's when an opportunity like this comes up, we just got to take advantage.
Absolutely, got to take advantage of them while you can, and obviously earning some of those extra points and everything else to go towards and help you through those playoffs. And looking at the playoffs, obviously, 3 rounds. We have the first round with Darlington, Bristol, Daytona Road, and then we go to Texas, Indianapolis, and Talladega. Really out of those 2 rounds, which one do you think is going to be the worst for you? Obviously, either have that wild card race in both rounds, with it being either Daytona Road or Talladega Super Speedway, where you really just never know what can happen and when you can get tore up out there on the racetrack. So what's going to have the wild card one in your books, and which one are you more nervous about trying to get to?
I think, obviously Talladega is kind of a toss-up, but I like the 2 tracks before. Texas is pretty decent track for us, and then Indy I feel like we're pretty strong at. But last year when we ran Indy, we had some problems late in the, led a bunch of it, or was up front for most of it, and then had problems at the end and ended up finishing outside the top 15 or something like that. So definitely rolling into that championship race, Talladega and Indy, but also Daytona Road, you get knocked out pretty quick. So, I think Bristol and Daytona Road are kind of a difficult stretch, with Darlington capping it off. So, just got to finish consistent. That's all we can ask for.
Absolutely. His consistency is key, and here tonight you are consistently up at the front of the field leading this race, and you're able to finish it off by parking yourself up and into victory lane. Matt, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, I want to thank guys with Misfit Motorsports. Having good teammates is big. It just pushes all of us forward. So, having Rusty and Clinton in here to run every week, just kind of, as far as race strategy and having cars up front, especially like in these drafting tracks, it's good to have teammates up front all running together. So want to really shout out them. Lindsay Fitzmaurice, appreciate her out there for everything she does for us, keeping Jimmy on his toes. And everyone here at Metalheads, and you, Aaron, for putting this on, man. It's always good talking to you week after week.
Absolutely, brother. It's always a good thing, and it always means that you had yourself a good day at the Speedway. Matt, congrats on the race win here tonight. Hopefully, maybe we can see a stretch of good finishes here for you and trying to build that momentum up as our playoffs only a few weeks away, man. And it's going to get very, very spicy here for the Metalheads Truck Series in a quick hurry. And hopefully, that momentum in the right direction for you means some great finishes here to finish off this season.
We'll try. We'll definitely try.
Beauty, Matt. Well, enjoy this win, and hopefully we see you right back up here next Monday.
Thanks, sir.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Matt Hayden. As Hayden picks up the checker flag here this evening as the 5 ride pulls himself up and into victory lane. Now we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher. It's the 318 of Matthew Catania. Catania comes home here in position number 2. Solid run, solid drive there for that 318 ride. Let's bring him up into the booth.
Which one?
Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Matthew, man, some strategy, some contact, some duking it out here this evening at Michigan International Speedway. You come up one spot shy and being able to complete the three-peat here after winning the last 2 races here in the Metalheads Truck Series. You're right there within striking distance, but just could not hold off Matt Hayden here. As Hayden was able to jump back around you down pit road and then hold you off there on that late race charge to steal this win away. But man, what a performance from that 318 machine again here today, man. Take us back through this race and what's going through your mind here after this 100-lap battle at Michigan International Speedway.
And that was pretty fun. I wasn't expecting it to go green that long. I'm glad it did. Good win to Matt there. That was a hell of a run. Yeah, man, I I was just trying to ride there for a while, to be honest. It was getting pretty crazy up there, so I was just trying to save my stuff. I knew at the stage it was kind of gonna throw strategy off because 25 laps of fuel. So we all pitted there on lap 20. I didn't get tires. Caleb didn't get tires, and then I think it was lap 30. That was the final caution. Figured we'd have a green flag run after all that, so I pitted for tires. There's Rusty Modesty, Clinton Woodby, and Matt Hayden. So I figured I'd just stay on their cycle and pretty much follow what they did. Try to stay in a pack.
Absolutely. Well, that strategy played dividends as we see it stay clean and green after that point. And for a lot of other drivers, we saw virtually about 15 or so come down pit road there at lap 30, and the other drivers did not come down pit side, and they were down pit road there on lap 17, and I think just that 13-lap difference kind of had them set back, where they had to come down pit road there on lap 45, where you guys came down, 10 laps or so after that, and I think that big difference maker came down to that second green flag pit stop, where they came down pit side. They couldn't make it any farther than around lap number 70, and it made them about 5 laps shy on fuel there, and we see that as your teammates all of a sudden, Ashley Elson Jr. and Caleb Kleinert, not with the performances they would have liked here today by having to make those late race pit stops. And we see Caleb down pit road on lap 93, Ashley down pit road there on lap 95, and here you are up at the front of the field duking it out for the race win, man. How does that kind of set the mood there in the Discord between you and your teammates?
Yeah, we were all iffy on what strategy we should go with. Mine was kind of last second. I didn't really communicate it too much. I should have. At least I felt like I didn't. But it was kind of a last second decision. I was sitting there back and forth, decided just to go in. They decided to stay out and try to run it. Yeah, it kind of sucks. It sucks that we were all spread out. We were all up there together for a while, and it's just the strategy kind of threw us all off about halfway through.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a tough break for them, but works out perfectly here for yourself, and your streak of being up here in the broadcast booth post-race continues. Obviously, here tonight, not in victory lane, but coming home with another solid top 3 performance for you. Matthew, who'd you like to thank for a great run and back out there on the racetrack here with the Metalheads Truck Series?
Yeah, I'd like to thank I'd like to thank Nate for putting the league on, you for broadcasting, Cooper, Ashley, and Caleb. We all work together, so and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, Matthew, hell of a run, hell of a drive, man. We can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Monday, duking it out for what could be another big race win for yourself down in Rockingham, as I do believe next week is our throwback paint contest as well. So, throwback paint schemes, a new looking ride for you potentially next Monday, and maybe another big win for yourself just before our playoffs get started.
Sir, I'm looking forward to it. Always have fun at Rockingham.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we can't wait to see you out there on the racetrack, Matthew. Congrats again on the second place finish here tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you back out there on the racetrack.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Matthew Catanias. Matthew comes home here in position number 2 this afternoon. Comes home there in second as our third place finisher, the 6th rider, Rusty Modesty, waiting patiently down pit side. Let's see if we can pull Rusty up here into the booth. Hey, Rusty, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Hey, Aaron.
Rusty, brother, what a run, what a drive, man. Take us back through this one. Obviously, a little bit of different strategy with some of those caution flags early in the race happening, and it works out for, pretty much half this field here this evening on that pitch strategy. And for yourself, it keeps you, Catania, Hayden, kind of all right there, tight together. And late in this race, you're trying to help your teammate out as much as possible. As you guys make that final pit stop, you come out a little bit behind Catania, you race up to him, you pass him, you slide into position number 2, but then later on, you kind of fall back there just a little bit behind him there, maybe burning up those tires a little bit too early in that run, and allowing Catania to kind of go back around you and try to steal that win away from your teammate today. Obviously unsuccessful in doing that, but what's kind of going through your mind there after that late race battle between you and the 318 and that 5 rider, Matt Hayden?
Yeah, I mean, trying to stick with Matt during that long green flag run. I don't know when the last caution was. Like, I think we ran like 60 something laps green there at the end, and just trying to stick with Matt and give him a shove. And man, it just burns the tires when you're up behind someone like that trying to push them. So sadly, just ate him up a little bit too much there. Trying to keep him out front and keep Catania at bay. I mean, it looked like the rest of the field we were leaving pretty good and built a good gap on everyone. The gap kept growing, but for Catania, for the 318, I mean, he just kept coming. So I think he did really good on the long run compared to Matt and myself, and we just tried to use the draft our advantage. And at the end of the day, just the tire preservation is what did it. So shout out to Matt for the win, though. It's pretty good. Nice to see a teammate win, and Catania with a good battle. I know we traded some paint there a few times, but overall, good little race between the three of us. And man, was happy to do a couple of green flag stops there and keep it green after the start of that race, which was pretty rough.
Yeah, it got a little chaotic there, and obviously we saw you guys last down pit road on lap 30, so probably went back green flag racing around lap 32, so about 68, 69 laps of green flag action there to finish off that race after, 4 or 5 caution flags pretty quickly here in this race. So cleaned it up and stayed clean and green, and for you guys, it allowed you guys just duke it out there at the front of the field. And as you said, man, that was a hell of a show. You guys put on a great battle there at the front, duking it out for this race win here this evening, and seeing your teammate pick up the win, never not nice. Obviously, it stings a little bit that you weren't up in victory lane yourself, but being able to still come home with a solid third place run, get some good points for yourself as well towards the playoffs. Definitely feeling pretty solid about today's performance for you and Matt Hayden out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think this pushes me over the threshold to get into this league's playoffs. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens when the points come out. But definitely decent points night for me.
Yeah, and the points so critical here with only 2 races left before these playoffs get started here. And obviously now we head to Rockingham. We have the New Atlanta, which is virtually a super speedway where you never really know what can happen or when you can get tore up and taken out of that race. So having those points in your back pocket and feel confident going into these 2 races, and knowing that if you run into issues that you should still be locked in virtually into these playoffs, it's got to be making you feel a little bit more at ease.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed we'll stay that way. Like you said, Atlanta will be a crapshoot. So that's just, you never know what's going to happen. I'm sure we'll be flat out there. Rockingham will be fun though. That's good, talent driven kind of track. So it'd be good to race with this group there.
Absolutely, should be a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you guys out there next Monday. But Rusty, who would you like to thank here tonight for a solid third-place performance at Michigan International Speedway?
Yeah, shout out to Nate and all the other admins that keep this going every week. Appreciate this. It's fun to run every Monday. Thanks to you, Peacemaker, for putting this on and give us something to watch and give the family, friends all something to watch and cheer us on. Shout out to the team there over at Misfits, Clinton and Matt. We have a good time racing here and talking strategy and just talking smack in general. So that's always a good time. And then shout out Lindsay Fitzmaurice. She's just the one.
Beauty. Well, Rusty, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, brother. Congrats on the third-place finish once again, and hopefully we see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next week.
Hey, thanks, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third-place finisher, Rusty Modesty, as Rusty comes home in position number 3 here this evening in the Revco Electrical 200 from Michigan International Speedway, the Metalheads Truck Series. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, though. Each and every one of you guys for coming in, showing the love here this evening, all the likes, the comments, the shares. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Even if you're still watching right now and you haven't done it yet, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up button on the stream right now. If you're watching on Facebook or over on YouTube, hit the like button on the stream for us. It helps us out a ton. Drop a couple comments. Let us know what your thoughts were on the broadcast, what you thought about the racing action out there on the Speedway, and let us know if you're interested in maybe getting in on the action. If you want to be a sponsor or a driver here with the Metalheads Truck Series, our next season just around the corner, not too far away. So if you want to get in on the fun, let us know and we can get you pointed in the right direction. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough though for tuning in. Everyone that has came in with the likes, the comments, all the shares, and any of the new followers or subscribers or any of our donators here this evening, we can't thank you guys enough for showing the love here this Monday afternoon, and we can't thank you for tuning in here and watching and cheering these guys on enough. And we'll be back in action again tomorrow night, so make sure you guys hit those bell notifications on, and that way you never miss it when we go green flag racing here on Peacemaker Gaming, as you'll catch a lot of these same drivers tomorrow night duking it out on the racetrack, battling tomorrow in our playoffs for the HCK Beagles, which is going to be another amazing show, another amazing race here with the NASCAR Trucks, and hopefully we see each and every one of you is in attendance cheering on our drivers tomorrow evening as well. Well, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys back here in the next one. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love, baby, and we'll catch y'all back here later on tomorrow night. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all later. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! What a run. What a race.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber birds on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Peacemaker, friction sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, they scream in heat on the asphalt battlefield where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat on the asphalt battlefield where the fears compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat on the asphalt battlefield where the fears compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back